to do it all in 2 minutes because there's so much going on in our city that has gone on that I'll do my best to just share a few thoughts with you concerning the progress and platform which I basically consider important to our city as we move forward. I want to say to you that I believe in Selma. And certainly I want to say that our city is very strong financially. It's stronger than we've been since I have been there. Our city is really on the move. The next 4 years of our city will prove to be the best 4 years we've had since I've been an elected official. Evidence of progress is all around us because individuals and businesses are once again investing in Selma, and it's because they believe in Selma too. We are the second oldest city in the state of Alabama, second to only Mobile, Alabama. After many years of hard work and investment by the city council and city government, we are the only city in Alabama which owns its own fiber optic network. Data storage and high-speed internet is now available to present and future industries. It is a potential gold mine for our city government and will produce revenue as well as jobs. I encourage all of you to get on board with the progress of our city. We're at a point right now where our city is about to cross over in terms of things that are going on that's evident in the progress of our city and the groundwork that's been laid. And I certainly encourage you to gather more information concerning what is going on, what is going on, and what the future will hold for our city as we move forward in terms of making progress. And I know that each of you in the next 4 years, as a result of the groundwork that's been laid, will be very proud of our city, as there's so much that's happening right now that will turn the corner from the standpoint of the future of our city and its progress. I bid all of you well and hope that you'll come by and see me one day to get a chance and let me tell you all about the progress of our city and how you can be a part of that. Thank you.
Now we have former Mayor James Perkins Jr.
Again,
All right.
I'm convinced we can do better. My platform is focused on jobs with livable wage. I want to remind you that while I served as your mayor, the mall was filled with stores. Now, the young people refer to it as a hall and not a mall. I want to remind you that Marvin's was not on that corner when I started, but it was there when I left. That the shopping plaza next to Walmart was not there when I started, but it was there when I left. Zaxby's, O'Reilly's, Holiday Inn Express, all these businesses were developed and came into our community while I served as office. Park Place Nursing Home, the apartments behind Park Place Nursing Home, the apartments on North Broad, Magnolia Gardens 1, 2, and 3. 1 was finished, 2 was started and finished, 3 was started before I left office. All this development took place. $31 million in new development took place in Selma while I was in office. When I took office in 2000, the city had long-term debt of $15 million. When I left office, it was 9.7. The year after I left office, in which the administration used the budget that was prepared by the prior administration, the long-term debt was $7.7 million. The last completed audit of the city of Selma shows the long-term debt, principal plus interest, at $42 million. I can't explain it, I don't understand it, but I know that we can build a better Selma. I'm absolutely convinced that when it comes to crime, we can do better. I trust that you remember the mobile unit, that we had patrolling the neighborhoods, that was addressing the issues of open-air drug trafficking and crime. I trust that you recall that was an international search that brought in the police chief, that an ecumenical and cross-section of the community vetted, and we unanimously agreed that Riley should be our chief. We made a commitment to him that we would provide the resources that were needed to fully fund the police department. $700,000 initially, and then we made a commitment that we would raise the police department salaries. City employees, including the police department, have not had a legitimate raise since I left office. I am absolutely convinced that we can do better. We can build a better Selma. That's why I am running for office. Y'all notice anything different up here today? Okay, all right, I'm gonna get the elephant out of the room here. I'm the only white candidate here, so. It's a surprise. I got really surprised. I'm sorry. I thought y'all might not notice. Greg Belkey, in case you don't know, Greg Belkey, I was born in Dallas County. Grew up on a dusty dirt road in Power Station, that's about 5 miles down 80. Went to all county schools. Been to Wallace College. Fell in love with the nursery business. I've been working in it ever since 1978. Dad, I operated a chute on Water Avenue for 30 years, almost across from the St. James Hotel, what is now Phoenix Park. He's passed it to a sister, and that business is still in operation since 1960. Met Jane, my wife, in the library of Burr School. Been married 28 years. Moved to Lapsey Street in 1990. I wanted to do more to help my town and neighborhood. So I ran for city council in 2011. This was the seat that was, if you remember, was vacated by Monica Newton. When it came back, a year later when the elections came around again, I was unopposed, and I don't know if that was, I was doing a really good job or nobody else wanted the job. I don't know, I never figured that one out. So, but anyway, now I want to do even more, and my platform, I wanted to say is, as always, and everybody knows me and knows this, is clean up, clean up, clean up, and maybe it helps them in the landscaping business and so forth, but every day, we send signals to anybody coming to this town, whether you're an industry seeker who wants to locate a $10 million plant here, whether you're a tourist, whether you're a retailer wanting to put Old Charlie's here, whether you're just a resident. We're sending signals, and this hurts me. We're sending signals when people see a faded sign, a sign covered with leaves, if they see potholes, if they see just basic maintenance things that are not being done. That hurts me, and good God, what is the signal that we are sending to the rest of the world? I know one thing, if I was going to put an industry here, and I came in outside, I'd go on down the road, and I'm sorry to say that, but that's what I would do. It's just this visual image I have. So everybody knows it's always clean up, clean up, clean up. I say my platform is to start small with little things, and the big things will take care of themselves. And I firmly believe that, and I certainly want everyone's help and support in doing this, because the little things will take care of the big things. So help me out with this, and I look forward to everybody voting on August the 23rd. Thank you very much, and thank you again for inviting me. Thank you.
Good morning again, and I am running for mayor because I believe that Selma is in dire need of a fresh start. And I believe that this fresh start begins with going back to the basics. Did you know that local municipalities only have 3 essential duties? That is public safety, public works, and finance and the budget. Now, when we look at those 3 issues, we are almost failing at each. We think about public safety and the crime and the violence that has been rampant in our communities over the past several years. I can guarantee you that nobody else and no other candidate understands this crime and this violence that's taking place in our communities better than me, because every Sunday I am in the Dallas County Jail praying with those young people that some are calling thieves and murderers and adulterers. I am in that jail cell praying with them and giving them hope, and have given almost 12 people, help them get their GED, and to also enroll in jobs opportunities after leaving jail. And then we think about the infrastructure that has been failing, the potholes everywhere, the buildings falling over into the Alabama River. I am thoroughly trained in writing grants, and over the past just 3 years, I've brought over $100,000 in grants to Selma alone, and almost $1 million to the Black Belt and surrounding areas. And when we talk about finance and the budget, yes, we are almost $42 million in debt. And yes, I have traveled to Jamaica to meet with their tourism council. I have traveled to Niagara Falls, Canada to meet with their mayor to put together a plan that will raise our city's revenue by $4 million by 2020. So I say, yes, it is time for Selma's fresh start, and I believe that that fresh start starts with electing young, youthful, and energetic leadership. So that's why I'm running for Selma. Thank you.
Open the forum up for Q&A. 2 minutes. If anyone has questions for a particular candidate, we would like to extend the mic for them to respond. So if you have any questions, please direct it and we'll. Yes, ma'am. And if it's directed to a particular candidate, let us know.
My name is Annette Williams, standing as a citizen and resident of Selma. I have 3 questions. Actually, I have 4 questions. Thank you. One for each candidate. I'll start with Councilman Delby. You spoke on, first of all, you identified yourself as the only Caucasian, and I quote, white candidate running. With that statement, I live in your ward. I've never heard or been invited to a neighborhood watch meeting, although I've had 9 break-ins and 9 different incidents with the law in my neighborhood where I have reports, but I've never been invited, nor have I ever heard of a neighborhood watch meeting in my area of your ward. So, are you more concerned about, I guess, going backwards, dealing with color, or will everyone be considered? And if so, you know, when will we get the invite?
We have 3 questions. Councilman Delby, allow you opportunity to speak.
Sure will. Thank you, Ms. Williams. That's interesting. The Neighborhood Watch program, I spend a lot of internet. I don't know if you're signed up with Jackie Johnson. She lives 3 doors down from you. We need to get you on that. She sends out emails, not just from Neighborhood Watch, but if somebody's missing a cat, if 2 guys are pushing a lawnmower down the street, she's on it. I need to get you on that. It also surprises me because I think you sit in on council meetings, and I announced that in the little report that I'm having a Neighborhood Watch program every 3rd Tuesday of the month, and Mayor Evans will be my guest again for the 3rd Tuesday in this month of June. So I'm surprised. But no, the reason I mentioned that about the white thing is kind of funny. This whole thing is not about black or white. It's just what is right. It's not about, and I know this sounds cliche, it is here. And anybody who knows me, I spend more time in the Riverview area than I do anywhere else. And my wife thinks there's some hanky-panky going on in the Riverview area for me. I have circled and driven thousands of miles in the Riverview area trying to do the best I can to bring and doing it. That is a tough neighborhood. No. I just brought that up just as a little fun, but by all means, in fact, come to my house for supper anytime. I'll invite you personally and go down and pick you up and bring you to my house. So no, that is certainly the lowest thing on the telephone, on the telephone pole for importance. Thank you.
For the sake of time, we're going to limit it to 2 questions. If we have time, we'll come back to you. Does anyone else have any questions?
Sure, I got a question. Actually, this one question can pretty much apply to all the candidates. Former Mayor Perkins and current Mayor Evans, under your watch, the police department has never had the full number of policemen that's been recommended for our city to be safe. Why and how, or what would you do different this time to get up to the 70 police officers that we need to keep Selma safe? And then to the other 2 candidates, what would you do to get to those 70 officers?
I want to answer your question on saying you're correct that we've never had 7 officers since I've been in the city government. And I'll say this also to you that it's not that the city of Selma has not tried to recruit officers heavily. We've always budgeted for roughly 60-some officers every year in the budget to secure and select officers. At the end of the day, we have at least 10 or 15 people who would apply to be a police officer in Selma, Alabama, and as a result of the background check, the agilities, drug testing, and so on like that, they do not qualify. And so that's been the search for police officers ever since I've been in city government since 2000. We've always tried to hire more police officers. And I think one of the reasons that we've been not able to hire more police officers, I think the salary cap that we have does have something to do with that. And you can't go spend what you don't have. I guarantee you, in your home, you know, you have to budget your money, and because you want it, doesn't mean you can get it. Our budget since I've been mayor, when I took over as mayor, I had a budget of $15 million. We had a deficit during that time. And I can prove that through the audit reports that came in. We had a deficit when I came to mayor. I had to cut back the salaries of all of employees at 12.5% for 6 months to get our budget back in line. However, that is no excuse for some of the things that's going on. Our police officers will be handling currently an outstanding job. Currently right now we're doing a new pay plan based on the one we had in order to raise the bar because our current officer at a later beginning pay is at $28,000. It needs to be $32,000. So the city council mayor right now have put in place a team to come in and do a new pay plan. Hopefully by next year's time, our police officers as well as other employees will have more money in order to do things that they do as relates to the quality of life and living, and hopefully that will hopefully solve many of the problems as relates to police officers.
The only thing that's going to fix the police department issue is to raise the salaries of the officers. We must keep the word that we gave to Chief Riley when we initially recruited him. We said that we would raise the pay of the police officers. When we do that, that will improve retention and it will improve the quality of officers that we're able to recruit. That's the bottom line on that issue. As it relates to a deficit, when I left office, there was an over-expenditure of $700,000 that was approved by the council, at which time the current mayor was the president of the council. That over-expenditure was specifically dedicated to buying the equipment and the resources that we committed to Chief Riley when we hired him in 2008. There was a promise that we would buy new cars, that we would buy new equipment, put in new technology. We agreed to spend cash that the city had. We had over $9 million in cash. We spent cash for those items. Those items were not budgeted for. Thus, there was an over-expenditure of the budget. But it was not that the city was broke, and it was by $700,000. Now, I will submit to you that the 2015 audit that is incomplete for this fiscal year, this past fiscal year, is showing an over-expenditure of the general fund of $985,000 and a total over-expenditure of $2.6 million in municipal government. I am convinced that we can do better. I am convinced that together we can build a better Selma.
This is a good question. Thank you very much. I had a son-in-law that started out with the police force, and this was the number one of the problems I already heard you talking about. Money is good, that's great, but it's not the only thing. It's not just back here, it's right in here. Moral support. Let's show these officers we appreciate them. That's number one. Number two, let's tell them that we appreciate them. Now, as far as salaries, we all agree we need more officers. Where did that money come from? I have talked to Ms. Wade. We've almost beat the books looking for ways to get money into the red light camera fund, which was originally set aside for public safety, and well, we know where that went. We've looked at property taxes. We looked at all sorts of areas. Everybody looks at possible ways to go up, but let's look at ways to go down. Well, what about these expenses? Let's look at the expenses. That's one way too that I say. But I think that we definitely have to get these officers up there so they're not leaving to go to small towns like Maplesville. They're going to be coming to us. So I'm thoroughly convinced though that if we can get we can cut expenses, and I can bring people in, I can get these officers at the pay rate they need and show them they appreciate it, tell them they appreciate it. And here again, little things take care of big things, and I firmly feel that way. Thank you.
Well, Frank, let me begin by just apologizing for all of the broken promises And what I will promise you is that I'll always do what's right and what's best for our city. And that's why I'm coming to you saying that I truly do believe that our police force will not be better until they have those wages, that salary that they are in dire need of. But what I will stand before you and tell you is that there's only a few ways that we can get this money. One is by raising taxes or creating new taxes that will go towards this police force, and the other is by doing what the trend is amongst young mayors throughout the United States, which is being creative and innovative and creating new revenue for the city, which is what I've been trying my hardest and working my hardest, traveling to 7 different countries in the past 5 years to do. So I can stand before you saying that no, we will not have to raise taxes if I am elected mayor. I'm saying that we will come together under our creative and innovative minds, putting together the best teams and pulling this tourism plan together. Because we already have thousands of people coming into Selma every year. But how much money are we really making when they only come to take a picture at the foot of the bridge and keep driving into Montgomery? I'm saying that I know we can do better, and I'm saying that we will do better, and there will be no more broken promises when I am in office. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. We've heard all of your reform, and I hope that each of you will take that into consideration. We have one more question.
First term of Mayor Perkins, I think at that time, if I've got my times right, I think he had just been elected mayor when we moved to Selma. My husband and I was coming into town when we was actually coming about the church, and I said to my husband in the car, I said, there's a dark cloud over this city. I don't know what it is, a dark cloud. I never wanted to come to Selma. Everything I heard about Selma was that the whites live here, the blacks live here, the whites eat over here, the blacks. So I had heard that before moving to Selma. We've now been here and have adapted to become citizens of the city. My mom tells you that it's hard to get me out of Selma now. I love it so much. But I want to ask, and I do appreciate this opportunity, and I want to ask Mr. Belkin, Mr. Perkins, Ms. Martin, Mayor Evans, I do want to know what's the goal of actually bringing, because I don't think Selma need a preacher. I don't think Selma need a lecturer. I think we all need a heart. And I want to know, after being here for, in the terms of Mayor Perkins and in terms now of Mayor Evans, and I don't know what Mr. Belkin or Ms. Martin would do. And I agree with Ms. Martin that we don't need promises. I think Selma's been hurt enough. But I want to know what's the goal of bringing people together as one. And I put a comma behind that because I want to know that from each individual candidate, that if that one person that wins, will the other 3 100% support that one? Because I see so much division in the city, so much division among candidates, among people, and even among race, I can see so much division. And I think, because I think that, of course, I'm a fan of Mr. Obama, and I think Mr. Obama could have done more if his cabinets and everybody worked together instead of pulling apart. So my question is, my husband pointing time, that's back to him in church. I mean, pointing at my watch, and he's doing that to me now, I'm sorry. So I just wanted to know, if Ms. Martin wins the mayoral election, will the other 3 100%? If Mayor Evans is back in the office, will the other 3 100% support them and help to bring this city, this city together as one and not as a divider? If Mr. Belkin, will we come together as a black race to support him? So that's what I want to know from the 3. What will you do if that one person is elected? Will you find a way to support that one to help raise the standards of Selma so it can be one? Thank you.
Mrs. Grayson, the same thing that happened to President Barack Obama happened to James Perkins. The same dynamics, the same kind of atmosphere between the legislature and the operating side of government. The second thing is this. This question has been asked of me different ways. This is a different approach to asking it, and that's why I've been so quiet over the past 8 years. Well, the answer to the question is this. It's the same reason that former presidents don't talk during current presidents' administrations. It's an act of courtesy. You tend to be asked up versus asked down. If I'm asked to help, I'll help. But if I'm not asked to help, I keep quiet about the current administration's performance and activities until such time it's time to campaign. And at that time, it's time to tell the story. And that's what we do. I will work with anyone, anywhere, all the time. As it relates to dealing with this issue of division in our community, I suggest that we focus on the issues and not race. Because race is going to be a part of every issue that we address, whether it's economics, education, it's going to be a component, a small component of each issue. But if we focus on creating jobs together, as Team Selma did while I served with Team Selma, we brought 10 industries into this community. That's 2,000 jobs. Unemployment was in single digits. It takes 200 jobs to move the unemployment rate 1 point. We were successful in recruiting industries. People said we were not going to get a honey supply. We brought 3. How many water milk comes in and Minnesota? I know that we can build a better Selma if we focus on the issues. I said that we couldn't do any improvements in education. But Selma had the only early college high school in the entire state of Alabama while I was in office. Since I left office, it closed. I'm convinced that if we work together, we can maintain and sustain those kinds of activities. The YMCA, Brown YMCA was open while I was in office. It's closed. The Good Samaritan Hospital building was open while I was in office. It's closed. I am absolutely convinced that when we work together, we will and we can build a better Selma. And my issue is simply focus on the issues and not race.
Thank you very much. I am going to focus on the issues as I run to this office this time. I assure you that there's a long story to be told about issues in terms of what happened then and what's happening now. Certainly as mayor, I've got no support from the former mayor since I've been in the office at all, period. However, that's the way it goes. That's life. And so when you say that, you say out of this until the election time, that's when you come up, that's fine. There's no problem with that. But at the end of the day, there's so much, there's a larger story to tell during this time. I will tell the story in terms of what has happened during my time as mayor, what happened when I served as president of the city council, as well as what I hope in the future, because I think that there's a lot of misleading information out there concerning what happened in terms of jobs and so. There are plenty of jobs in Selma, trust me, right now. There are plenty of jobs in Selma. I have not been a part of every institution coming here for a job, but I've been a part of Team Selma, as the former mayor has indicated, in order to encourage business to come to Selma. As I said earlier, there's always room for improvement. No question about that. We have plenty of room for improvement in our city, but I'll tell you, as I said earlier, businesses and individuals are making a move in our city like never before. That is a fact. It speaks for itself. Taco Bell, Burger King, Wendy's, Hunter Ford, all of these places are currently now expanding and moving forward. So that's a sign of progress, not retrogression. I'll say this, that Good Sam Hospital, there's a story to be told about that, and I will tell at the appropriate time about what happened at Good Sam Hospital in terms of that. So all about the police department in terms of promises that were not kept. I'll tell that story at the appropriate time about what happened. I have the numbers and the facts. I served in both terms, and as a result of that, I know our city right now is as divided as it's ever been since I've been mayor. Since I've been in the city government, it's divided. It's divided on 2 sides in the white community. It's divided on 2 or 3 sides in the black community. It is unreal, and that's a fact. How we bring this all together, it's going to take prayers and just honest forgiving. Because at this time, unless we come together, no matter who the mayor is, unless we can find a way to bring our citizens together, we're going to have trouble. That's the same thing with the Democratic and Republican Party. I don't believe whoever becomes president, they're going to come together and work. And so who suffers? The people. The people. So at the end of the day, I'll say this to all of you. I will give you my platform in the future. I will tell the story based on facts, in terms of what's going on, in terms of finance in our city, and what has not gone on, and all about the misinformation that's out there to the public that need to be clarified. I'll stand by that and have records to prove in terms of what is going on and how the lack of support has been from the standpoint of trying to downsize the city and destroy the city rather than build it up and say that you care about your city. Thank you.
You know, when a pond starts drying up, people get, well, it can be fish, it can be animals if they're habitat. People get real territorial and they're fighting off, this is my space, this is my space, this is my space. And it's sad to see people in let's say, West Selma, let's say Lansdowne, we'll put up a gate, I'll put up a sign, don't come in, this is my neighborhood. You come over here to here, to this neighborhood, this is my space, stay away, this is my space. I think everybody gets real territorial when they're threatened. But you're right, Mr. Grayson, that is a very important thing. It's not an easy thing. People are going to have to learn all over again. Relax. No one's taking your space. We're all here together. Everybody's just have to learn. There are a lot of ways to do this. I think working together, someone told me one time, I certainly agree with you, you never know somebody until you work with them. I've always wanted to do a little thing that I call the basic workforce. If folks qualify, I don't care if you're 18 to 80, if you qualify, we have small jobs that you can do, get paid every week. I don't care what color you are, let's all get together and let's work. It can be a team of 25 around town. Thank you. So, with that said, there are other ways. I would love to get this, I know this sounds a little bit corny, I think it's always right. Let's get that amphitheater going. Let's bring in some acts of people that are really fun, that everybody feels to. Lionel Richie, I know this sounds really corny, but can't you just see a big audience of people there with seeing this party, an audience that everybody likes? Let's bring everybody together. Let's quit letting everybody be so protective and territorial in their space, because what they are afraid. They're afraid of somebody taking what they have, and it just certainly does not need to be done. And I think that when, as I keep saying, when little things are done, other bigger things fall into place. People get relaxed. The town starts growing. Hey, you're not going to take my stuff, so I'm going to relax. So that's mine. As corny as it sounds, I think everybody should wall up, and there's a fear, and they certainly need to relax. Thank you.
You still have, she's got to respond. She didn't answer the question. She's got to answer the question first.
Thank you, I'll be brief. But let me just say that I love Selma and all of Selma's people, and I can guarantee you that my background says that all. I'm not probably the only candidates that can stand up and say that Mayor Evans' past 2 terms in office, that I've been there to support him 110% along the way. When I was a student at Spelman College, I came home every summer to help him develop his Mayor's Youth Initiative. That I also came home to help him with the Brown Y and to raise funds and to actually have that pool open that summer of 2009. That I came back from Princeton, paid my own airfare to be with him as he started his initiative with the ministers, partnering with the mayor of Tuskegee. So I can say that I've already been here, working, trying to make a change here in our cities, working with everyone. And I just think back to my last birthday, July 27, 2015. I started, it was on a Sunday, I started my day off serving as guest pastor at Cornerstone Presbyterian Church, right here on the corner. I did another service at Mount Arab Baptist Church and ended my day right in the Dallas County Jail. So when you think about that, this is my background. This is what I've been doing, working in all of Selma's communities, working with all of Selma's people. So I just ask you to look at the backgrounds for each candidate. If they don't have a background of pulling people together, if they don't have a background of lifting the morale for the city of Selma, if they don't have a background that says, I love Selma and all of Selma's people, please vote wisely. And that's how we're going to get a mayor that has a heart for this city. Thank you.
For the sake of time, we're going to wrap this up to.
I'd like to make a statement and then I would like to ask a question.
I know that there aren't any answers that you have right now. Let me start off by simply saying to the city of Selma that you're doing a good job as it relates to hiring young people. I was somewhat involved by encouraging students to fill out applications. And when I was given the number, they told me 260 plus. That's a start. That's a start. And most of the young people who have been to City Hall since that time have been able to fill out an application for a job. That's encouragement. And in addition to that, I do know that the young people for the last 3 or 4 years have had an opportunity to get a scholarship. A scholarship and also little technology equipment or gadgets or whatever you want to call it, notebooks, computers, etc. Which brings me down to my real point. Money is not the only thing that Selma needs. Now, I don't know how many offices are out there, but I do know that parents, teachers, and anyone else need to start teaching our young people to respect the officers that we have. A lot of them don't do that. They pass by and wave at the officers, and they may have joints or what have you on them. They don't care. Question, what can the city do to have quarterly meetings with the parents? You gotta start with the parents. They can't be left out. You can check into the program that Judge Armstrong is over right now, and you will see the number of young people that's in trouble, and he's trying as hard as he can to help keep them out of jail. I call his name, but I mean his staff. How can we work with the parents? When that child gets in trouble, the first person they're going to call is the parent. And I don't see it. I've been working in the school system 30-some years. I don't see it. Now, I'm not talking about the ones who are there.
When I was invited today, I indicated that I had a major schedule conflict, and I'm really bumping up against the time constraint. But I'm holding out as best I can, out of respect for you. It's interesting to me, Sister Brian, how many of the things that people are saying we need now, we had in place while I was in office. Trustville went one step further. We didn't meet with parents on a quarterly basis. We were talking to people every day on the street where they were. We literally took City Hall out of the building downtown and put it on the streets of Selma. We walked and we talked to people where they were, whether they were on their front porch, in their backyard, making their yards on the corner. And we talked to them about the issues and challenges they were facing in their families. We talked to them about the codes that were not being strictly followed, those that needed to be followed. We shared with them and talked with them about resources that were in the community. Contrary to what people stated, we did not duplicate any function that was provided by any agency or resource. What we simply did was connect the people with the resources that exist. I said then and I say now, 90% of the things that our people need in this community, we already have. We simply need to connect the dots, connect the people to the resources, and that's what Trustville was doing. Unfortunately, Trustville, like many other things that we had in place, was dismantled when I left office. I am convinced that we will build a better Selma. Some of the things that we were doing before, we need to do them again and better. I am convinced that we can do that. I hope this answers your question. Yes, ma'am.
You know, time won't permit me to go through everything I need to go through at this time, honestly, won't. However, I'll tell you this, at the appropriate time between July and August, I'll tell you all about Trustville and everything else. I was there in 2000, 2008. I can tell you about the pitfalls of all these things and why these things work as well in the best interest of the citizens of Selma and financially for the city. I will tell that I will take time and have my own show on radio and the newspaper where I talk about all these things in terms of what's good about Selma and how do we find a way to bring Selma back together from the standpoint of community relationships and cooperation getting together. Yes, I would say this to Mrs. Bryant, since I've been mayor, I've reached out to try to find a way to bring our community together, and sometimes good and sometimes failed. Even with the special needs program for our kids, it's 5 years of the special needs program, raising money to bring the special needs children, all parts of Selma, from the standpoint of public and private schools, to get them, as well as county school kids with special needs, to have them to consult, even with the scholarship program for our children, all children, public and private schools, receive awards for the past 5 years in terms of trying to find ways to bring our community together. So I understand what it means to try to work to bring the community together, but it is difficult sometimes when you have forces out there who seem to work against that. And certainly what I have learned over the years, as Mr. Belker said earlier, you don't know a person until you live with them and work with them. I don't care what anybody says, you run with somebody all your life, but you live with them and work with them, you'll find out who they really are. I've learned that over the years, and I understand that. But certainly there is a lot to be discussed, and I'll continue to reach out to try to bring the community together as I've always done, because certainly some people say I'm too kind in terms of saying I forgive too easily and forget too quickly. Well, I'm going to say this to all of you. These next 4 years and during this time, I'm not going to be like that. I'm just going to lay it on the table for what it's worth and what it's right, whether I'm here or not. That's not the most important thing in life, because the most important is the community. Selma, in terms of how we go from here. I will concur with Ms. Martin. She certainly came back from school and reached out to work with me on some events. Her mother was a part of the school when I was superintendent of schools. She was a special ed teacher at Southside, still is, and does an outstanding job to teach for special needs children. She has a love of children. So nothing, I'm going to do what I need to do to try to find a way to bring this community together. And like I say, it's not always about money. It's about commitment, caring, and involvement. So I'm going to do that. And as I said before, today, because of time limitations, there's a lot that I can share with you, because I'll give you my word. Our city is moving forward like never before. And I'll say this to you, the next 4 years, I'm sure whether I'm here as mayor or someone else, you're going to see a change in our city in terms of progress been made and the opportunities and the groundwork and the seeds that have been planted. As I have traveled a lot of places, talked to different individuals within the Black Belt, mayors within the Black Belt, I've formed a relationship with all of them, finding ways to work together to move our city forward. I have done that, and we'll continue to do that. And I have pledged my corporation to whoever the mayor might be, from the standpoint of get that. Sorry about that. Had to wake me up sometimes. But nevertheless, I will do what I need to do to work with our city forward, whoever the mayor is. But in many cases, you're going to find that sometimes that works good and sometimes it doesn't. And so I'll say to Mr. Belkey and I'll say to Ms. Martin, certainly I'm there, so I will still reach out to them as well as Mayor Perkins if he chooses to be a part of that, to work with anyone while I serve in this capacity.
Ms. Brown, I think the original question was getting to the parents and children in response to crime. Am I correct with that? It seems to be.
Well, partnerships with parents.
Partnerships with parents. Okay, partnerships with parents come to children. Quarterly. How about monthly? How about let's get into schools. Let's go to the neighborhoods. And let's go to them. Let's stop the. We have to have a police van, and we stop every block, and let's put the word out there. Let's go to the schools. Let's start early. It hurts me when I go around to various neighborhoods in Ward 3, and 10 children will pour out of a household. 10. And I don't know who else taking care of moms and so forth, but that hurts. And I know those children things are tough in that household, and so discipline and watching them every minute of the day and where they are is not a high priority. Getting through life is their priority. So I think to answer your question, let's take it to the streets, let's go to the schools, let's hit them early, let's do it monthly, let's rotate, whatever we have to do, let's get the word out there. There are programs available, we want to help, here's what we can do, we need your help as well. Thank you.
If I could just take a few seconds to let you know about what I am already doing as just a private citizen to connect with our parents and our young people. On Sundays, as I meet with the young people at the Dallas County Jail, most of these are young women. These are single mothers. And so what I've started doing is a parenting class that helps them and connects them when they get out of jail, connects them with the Family Resource Center, and they are enrolled in parenting classes to kind of build on what we learned in the jail on those Sundays. I'm also a part of Communities of Transformation, which is a group that meets on Mondays and partners with members of the low-income community, where you partner them with a member of the business community, where they can grow with each other and help them to be better parents, better business folks, and also even better spiritual leaders, and make them realize their full potential to be a given citizen of Selma. More recently, I started the Big Brothers from the Hood initiatives, and this is a turn on the Big Brothers program out of Montgomery and so many other states and so many other cities. And this is where we have fathers who were once former gang members and who were once former drug dealers, who have changed their lives and turned their lives around, and so now they are meeting in the communities with the young people and also with the parents. And so these are the type of initiatives that I will bring in to city government. Again, if this is something that you are not already doing, it's going to be almost impossible for you to come into office and begin doing it. This is the work that I started in Selma almost 10 years ago. Since completing high school, I've been, even in college, coming back to Selma to find ways to build, to find ways to connect and to reconnect. And so that's what it's going to take to move Selma forward, and especially our parents.
Okay, we want to wrap it up with one last question. I think we have